But not in front of the camera, correct?
Oh, you can go in front of the camera.
The first thing was like me crossing.
Next to my name on the roster.
Also considering it's the last day of school.
Yeah. How was your day?
It wasn't much better. I got interrupted again during my
Yikes. Did the professor do anything?
Not really. It was a little bit too late once she intervened. But you know, you'd think that with a coordinate system that has women moving women up, I would be protected by some sort of thing like this from happening.
Yeah, you know, when I was applying to HWS 4 years ago, I vividly remember hearing about the coordinate system for the first time. And I was so excited at the thought of going to a women's college while still having access to co-ed social spaces. Looking back, I realize now that I liked the idea of a label of a women's college without getting any of the benefits of one.
Yeah, you know, the entire coordinate system is essentially a label in and of itself. It seems ridiculous to insinuate that we're actually two separate colleges aside from the administration. What's a coordinate system even supposed to entail?
Basically implies that Hobart and William Smith are two entirely separate colleges. There aren't any classes offered to students of an individual. In our day-to-day lives, we don't have as much of a separation. Yeah.
That's probably because it doesn't affect you guys as much.
Yeah, you know, when you think about it, all the coordinate system is really serving to do right now is putting a divide between us and students.
Yeah, and Hobart College is far more recognizable in a job application.
Even the William Smith students perform higher academically.
Wait, didn't we have the same GPA in high school?
Yeah, actually we did, and I got waitlisted twice before being accepted here.
That's crazy. I got accepted immediately.
I'm not surprised. Not only does the system hurt William Smith students academically, but the reinforcement of the gender binary is really exclusionary to trans and gender nonconforming students.
Well, I haven't thought of anything like that. Should I go right on this? Let's talk about the coordinate system. Different deans, different athletics, and different traditions. Some people coordinate to something that I'm missing. Originally from those two separate colleges. Unfortunately, we need to acknowledge this. On one campus with no equal treatment, William Smith students are held to higher achievement. They say it calls for leadership opportunities, but does this way outweigh everything else? Can you explain this to me? William Smith students don't get enough recognition, and it isn't fair. Bring it up over and over, and they still don't care. I think I've had enough. The inequity ends here. Forget about equality, let's talk about equity. I think that sounds better to me. I think this calls for change and we need to do this one. Having two schools, it doubles the cost. I don't see how this works. I think that I'm lost. As a community, we need to come along and tell them that the way the coordinate system is set up is all wrong.
It's time for a change. Let's all get together and actually do something about this.
The thing is, campus climate around the coordinate system has been a discussion for years now, and there's been absolutely no discernible change. This is largely due to the fact that all of these conversations are framed around the concept of commencement seating, and a lot of people's views on that do not reflect their views on the coordinate system itself.
Yeah, I mean, the last coordinate conversation I went to hit so many roadblocks. Overall, a bunch of students agreed that there are problems with the system, but not that commencement seating is the solution to their issue.
Not to mention that administration never shows up at any of these conversations.
So how are we, as a student body, supposed to facilitate change when our system isn't even listening to us? Hobart and William Smith were once two colleges. Wait, my bad, they still are. Other colleges around the country used to be the same as us, together yet divided, but now things have changed. Instead of being separated, they have merged into one. An example, of course, Hamilton and Kirkland College. If that college can come together, then why can't we? I mean, I really don't understand it. Can you? listen to us. And I get it. I think we all do. The system has worked for us in the past, but it isn't now. It's rusty and outdated, old and crumbling. We have pleaded against this act before. Can anybody listen to us? Do you not hear us pleading?
Do you not hear us pleading?
This administration really needs to start listening to the students that are hurting under this system.
Kathleen, the entire institution needs to listen. We only perpetuate success stories of famous and noteworthy alums like Elizabeth Blackwell without acknowledging the struggles surrounding their circumstances.
They thought it was a joke? Are you kidding me? She graduated the top of her class, made her very successful.
Yeah, you would think that Elizabeth Blackwell, being one of the most noteworthy people that graduated from this college, would be more respected on this campus.
Yeah, now her greatest legacy is that random Hobart men pee on her 17 times a week. Ironically, that's pretty truthful of what her time life here was like.
This is so unsettling, especially because we advertise Blackwell's presence so heavily on this campus.
I mean, that false advertisement is the only example. You guys even know the true story behind our sister statue over there?
Guys, I'm still stuck on the Elizabeth Blackwell thing.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Hundreds of Geneva women doctored up on the notion that they have found liberation within our air. What they're really facing is subjugation, blatant miscommunication, trying to exist within an institution where equality is not shared. Alright, okay, perhaps we're free from liberty, justice, and from peace, from any sort of love that makes this fair. Our token woman, medical phenomenon, first female doctor certified in this entire nation. We shall go about her celebration, drowned in semen, splashed with urine, dripping down the heartbeat to the feet of our perched bronze armor. We are ready for a battle. We are ready for a war. We are ready all the while our fate is dictated by doors. And while they bury us in time, stand up now for a revolution. Perhaps elimination remains our only good solution. When they see me, they see white and green, but I have orange and purple in me too. The values we each separately preach pertain to the others too. And in this world of color, I'd hate to be limited to two. But at the end of the day, my blood runs red and blue, like most veins in arteries do.
Guys, talking about Elizabeth Blackwell is important and all. There's still something Kels brought up earlier that we haven't touched upon.
Yeah, how exclusionary the system is of its trans and gender nonconforming students.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't really think about that. But we all use these terms like Hobart men, William-Smith women so freely instead of just referring to each other as students.
Yeah, trans and gender nonconforming students exist and are present on this campus, and yet most aspects of our community inherently exclude them.
Honestly, I think this applies to all queer students in some way. There's a lot of gendered expectations attached to the phrases Hobart man and William-Smith woman that would make any queer student feel uncomfortable and unwelcome.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. My 4 years at Hobart and William Smith colleges has been a strenuous experience. My relationship with the institution has changed countless times over the course of my journey here. When I first stepped foot on campus, I was the poster child of HWS. I was constantly visible around campus and always finding new ways to embrace the HWS community. I was loved by every professor, every dean. I was photographed in every single week of TWIP for my first 6 months on campus, and that is not a joke. And I had a personal relationship with President Guerin. Throughout my first semester here, I had a picture-perfect experience, but things started to change. I never saw myself being anything but happy within the walls of this institution, but I began to question myself in ways that I never had and experience negative thoughts in ways I never experienced them. It has taken me 3 years of physical and emotional trauma to come to terms with the fact that I am a queer woman. Now, we have all heard stories of various people's journeys out of the closet, and no matter how supportive your family is, no matter how supportive your surroundings, that journey is never a pleasant one. The internal struggle of coming to terms with a marginalized identity is debilitating. I still haven't completely come to terms with mine, and I am facing an identity that is widely tolerated in modern day society.
But biologically and scientifically speaking, queerness is wrong. Organisms exist to reproduce, and my brain is wired in a way that makes me unfit to accomplish the one thing that my body is built for. My heart is reaching for something that does not advance my species, and my instincts have failed me. That is the internal struggle that I still face every single day and that I suppressed for 20 years. It's this internal struggle that has caused some out and proud students on this campus to use the phrase fake queer when describing me. The first time that I heard that an individual that I trusted, that I considered a friend throughout my coming out experience, called me a fake queer, trying to reap the benefits of the LGBTQ plus community, I was immediately transported to being 18. It was a cold November night in my first year, and we were sitting on her porch, and it was the first time that she had looked into my eyes, and I felt like I was floating and falling all at once, and she slowly raised her hand and held my face and told me that I was the most beautiful girl that she had ever seen. And I stood up and left. It was the first time in my life that my body had been ignited by another person, and my immediate reaction was to shut it down. And I'm facing an identity that is widely tolerated in modern day society. Now, my discovery of queerness on this campus has been the hardest journey of my life, and there is nothing built into the functionality of Hobart and William Smith colleges that inherently excludes me. This coordinate system does not exist in a way that outwardly hurts me because I identify with the gender that I was assigned at birth. But that being said, I do not fit the expectations of the perfect William Smith woman. I used to. Before I came to terms with who I was, I fit the mold of this institution perfectly. And now that I'm 2 weeks away from my graduation, I look back on my time here, and I think about every relationship that I've lost with friends, professors, collaborators, and lovers that I no longer have. All of those cut ties cut back to my experiences at this institution as a William Smith woman. And all of my experiences as a William Smith woman are directly linked to the coordinate system.
Yeah, I mean, I think those issues are really cool.
Yeah, you would think that it'd be a lot easier to be queer on this campus considering all the resources that we have.
Like the LGBTQ Resource Center!
Exactly. But the fact of the matter is, this campus is not friendly to its queer students, whether they're out or not, even though we like to advertise ourselves that way. In 2016, Campus Pride placed HWS on their annual list of the friendliest LGBTQ plus institutions in the United States.
On my first day of orientation, I walked through the Hobart tunnel. I received questioning looks from alumni who were reluctant to speak to me, even as they warmly welcomed my surrounding peers. In my orientation group, I introduced myself using he, him pronouns, only to sit in uncomfortable silence as the student next to me made a mockery of the pronouns offered in our welcome packets. And laughed with his friends, calling himself an alien. At the Hobart matriculation ceremony, I was immediately misgendered by the student seated next to me. I could not correct him, and instead snapped speeches that dripped with hypermasculinity and old boys club rhetoric. And that was just my first 3 days at HWS. But in 2016, Campus Pride placed HWS on their annual list of the friendliest LGBTQ plus institutions in the United States. I cross Pulteney Street now, the towering scissors always looming just at the edge of my vision, and I wonder what it means for this campus that our administration prioritizes the divide of binary gender in the delivery of our education, instead of just the education itself. I sit in class after class, feeling out of place as my peers and professors struggle to correctly identify which box I fit into. White and green, or purple and orange. I don't have the ability to transfer, to escape an environment that imprisons my gender identity and expression in order to promote ideals that are stuck in the 1950s. I don't have a support system that reflects my experiences, as other trans and gender nonconforming students are not safe to come out and experience the problems I'm desperately trying to articulate, even as I'm silenced by shouts of outdated tradition and supposed empowerment. But in 2016,
Campus Pride placed HWS on their annual list of the friendliest LGBTQ plus institutions in the United States.
I had no idea that HWS would be like this, and I was not prepared to step into an environment that structurally has no interest in including me or my lived experiences. And I'm lucky enough to have been confident in my gender identity before stepping foot onto this campus. I can't imagine the emotional toll it would have on a student who began to question their gender after coming to HWS. This campus does not allow spaces for the expression of gender fluidity when the backbone of our institution falls on the phrases Hobart man and William Smith woman. We cannot advertise an institution of inclusive excellence when we are inherently exclusionary. We cannot fix a binary problem with band-aid solutions. This campus doesn't want to listen to me or people like me. This campus will never allow spaces for my experiences until the system is gone. It's time to face the consequences of a structure that isn't working and hasn't worked for a long time. We need to change the coordinate prison we are living under in order to create a community that is genuinely supportive and inclusive, instead of one that boasts lofty ideals as its students are silenced and suffer needlessly.
Why is it like this?
How can we move forward?
Who do we ask for help?
Where do we go from here?
When will it get better?
A house divided cannot stand.
Thank you everybody for coming. We'd like to invite you to a post-show discussion talk.